Hello, everyone. It's Mark Wilkinson here, live from London. It's 5 p.m. GMT. This is Fearless Friday with myself, Nancy Lynn, a soon-to-be published author on Hazmark Publishing, Dave, and of course, Judy. And we're here to discuss a few things together around Fearless Friday. And what we found is a technical glitch. We've got a technical issue. We're not exactly sure what's occurred. We honestly don't know what's happened there. Judy is in Canada, as Dave. Are you Canada as well, Nancy?
Nancy's
Doha, Qatar.
Ah, you're in Qatar.
Qatar.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Wow. Okay, nice, excellent. So we're truly global right now. I love that. Just got my friend Jeremy just saying hello. Hello, everyone. Hi, Jeremy. Good to have you here, my friend.
Jeremy.
But what's interesting is this is something that can happen. Fearless Fridays, technical issues. Can sometimes take over, even with the modern stuff. So Judy can hear us perfectly, and she can see us all perfectly, but something's gone wrong with the camera. So would you like to just give us a wave, Judy, on WhatsApp? And,
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, there she is. Hey. So we don't know quite what's happened, but Judy's going to be here with us. I'm not going to keep holding this phone for.
Oh, come on, Mark.
I mean, you know, much as I love seeing you, Judy, I'm not going to hold this phone for long.
Oh, darn.
We've got a Facebook user that says, "How cool is that?" So there you go. It's very cool. Yes, we're London to the Middle East to Canada via WhatsApp and StreamYard. And you know what? Sometimes things might not work absolutely perfectly, but it's okay.
Like life, right?
Exactly right. Fearless Friday is all part of it, right? At the end of the day, Judy's just demonstrating to us how not to worry about this stuff. Yeah. So that's great. So yeah, exactly, Judy. So listen, I'm going to put you down now, and then we're going to continue the conversation. How's that? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, brilliant. We can still hear you perfectly, so that's okay.
Okay, good.
I'll see you in a bit, Judy. Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. There we go. Right. So Judy, she's still there. She can still hear us. And as Jeremy says, we've dealt with it. Exactly right. We've dealt with it. Right. And Fearless at 5 has a nice ring to it. Okay. Yeah. Perhaps that's the way forward on a Friday afternoon. So.
Ooh.
Here we are live. We're actually live across 8 platforms, which is the maximum amount that. It's the maximum amount that StreamYard will allow us to do. I was pushing them to get 10, but I kept messaging them and they said, no, 8's the maximum. I'm like, okay, fine. So but we're live across the 2 Hazmark pages and 6 of mine, 4 Facebook and a LinkedIn and a YouTube. And we're here just to talk about Fearless Friday. We're here to talk about, obviously, ourselves and what's going on, but I want to hear from all of you. So Nancy, why don't you go first and tell us a bit about you?
Okay, I'll tell you about my book.
Yes.
I guess, because that's part of me, a big part of me.
That's the most important bit right now, isn't it? Because it's out on Tuesday.
Yes. My book is called A Life of More, and it's loosely based on my life experiences. We make decisions in life, and sometimes they take us to places we don't necessarily want to go. And if we keep going to these places, sometimes we stop and ask, why are we in this? How did we get to this place? And sometimes the universe gives us a little shove, and sometimes it gives us a big knock on the head, if you want to use that term. But anyway, so the character in my book is going through life and trying to figure out how she got where she got. And when she's getting little clues along the way, and in the end, she's being she's been woken up for the most part, and she's getting what she wants instead of what she doesn't want. So.
And you found that as a life experience, Nancy, yeah?
Oh yes. And then, I mean, my character, like myself, figures out why I was getting these things that I didn't want, as opposed to why was I getting what I did want? So
how did that first come about? How did you first start to realize that yourself personally?
Yes, well, I found myself in relationships or circumstances that I thought, it's got to get better than this. This cannot be all there is to life. There has to be more, you know? And so I would listen to something or find something. I was always searching for answers. And so it took me quite a while to find a lot of the answers, but each time I would realize something more and, that's what I'm supposed, that's the way it works. Until near the, I mean, no one has all the answers and no one gets it right all the time. But, you know, near the end of my book, my character gets like a great awakening on figuring this whole journey of life and how it works and how to get what you want.
Good.
So
that's great. That's great advice for people.
Yes.
It's amazing that you're reaching out and actually putting that book out. Sounds like quite a familiar story to me, because Life Remixed may well be quite similar, apart from the fact that I've written in the first person about myself and the fact that I was a right little tearaway when I was younger. So Danielle is saying that you are the master of this live thing technology. She's talking to you, Judy, to be honest.
Yeah, it must be me she's talking to. Yeah.
So Dave, introduce yourself to the world.
Well, hello, world. My name is Dave Falle, and I work for Hasmark Publishing International. I get to talk to awesome authors like you two every day. I love what I do, because I get there's so much fulfillment and there's so much satisfaction in bringing ideas like yours to life and exactly getting what you want. You help so many people. Authors like you guys help. Your book's coming out soon, but you're going to be helping so many people with your stories and with what you've done. And I think that's what makes my job so fulfilling, because I first of all get to help you do that, but I get to see the results of that. And you're all part of our Hasmark book family, and it's just amazing. It's so fun to be on this side of the mic, if you will.
6 months ago, you gave me my first interview as an author.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Oh,
and,
totally remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and it was the start of a little journey that it's turning into quite a big journey, in all honesty. And
It is.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And I was particularly, I don't know how you feel about this, Nancy, but I was particularly, I don't know, nervous, but I wasn't that comfortable about coming onto Fearless Friday in the first place, or being interviewed by Dave in the first place. It wasn't something that I particularly thought, I really must do that.
no.
I was encouraged. How about you?
Right. Oh, I found it very daunting. And I know, you just got to, as Susan Jeffers says, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what I've done most of my life, but that's it. Eh? Oh, that's part of it, isn't it? Just, you don't know what's going to happen, and you have to let your ego go and just bare your soul.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's absolutely right. And Judy, let's come to you. I know we can't see you. I know we saw you at the start, but you're still there with us. I know 100%. Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself, Judy, and your journey and your family, perhaps? I don't know.
My book family, which just what Dave said, you two are part of, and it's incredible. And I've been actually at this for a lot of years now, it feels like. Back in 2007, we started. So we started by doing bestseller campaigns. We've been fortunate enough to work with Deepak Chopra and Marcy Shimoff and Jack Canfield and Bob Proctor and Peggy McCall and hundreds and hundreds of authors, even the publishers. We work with HarperCollins, Hay House Publishing, Wiley, Random House, the list goes on and on and on. And we're very, very fortunate that we continue to keep on doing it. And I loved your post this morning, Mark. You talked about being happy instead of always waiting for Friday or waiting for the weekend or waiting for the summer or waiting to retire. And I just had that conversation yesterday with someone who said to me about retirement, and I'm going, you're in your 40s. So you right now are living your life to get ready for your retirement. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we have got to learn to wake up every day happy and to want to enjoy it and not feel like we're going off to a job. This in no way feels like a job.
No, I agree. I mean, job stands for just over broke. I was taught that by my by my business coach.
Great expression.
My business coach. You know, I mean, job, you know, just over broke, because that's where it'll keep you, you know, for 40, 50 years or whatever. And yeah, I mean, yeah, waking up with gratitude and feeling good about what you're doing is a beautiful thing. You're also actually, I've got a quick message for Dave here. Dave, Wayne, my friend Wayne says, I love Dave's background picture.
This picture, yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, that looks, it is
great
nice.
picture.
I love that picture too. That was given to me by my sister and brother-in-law for my birthday.
Yeah, it's very nice, mate. That's why it's back of shot. I like it a lot. Well done. Well
Exactly.
Done. Not that people are not looking at you, Dave, but clearly they're looking at
we got out of the way. Maybe
anyway.
Either that or they're looking at my LP. Because that's what it reminds me of, as an LP.
Yes.
And some people might not know what an LP is.
Yeah, I do. I carried 12-inch records around in a record bag for about 20 years, and so I know all about it. But Judy, you're also an author as well. You've written books.
I have. I've got 3 books actually, 2 books in a journal, and then I even had. We even released a book for my granddaughter. She did one. She did an activity book. When she was 10 years old, we turned it into an international bestseller on the day of her birthday, her 10th birthday.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that's a nice accolade to have at 10 years old, isn't it?
It is. It is. We thought, well, if we can do it for everybody else, why can't we do it for a 10-year-old? And she showed up with her cover for her book, and it's got the poop emoticon. And I'm like, oh, no. And I thought, well, but the thing is, you appeal to 10-year-olds. So that's what they want to see. That's what they want to see.
Well, at 10 years old, I was probably chasing a football around a park or riding a bicycle. I was certainly one of the best-selling authors, let's put it that way. So I'm impressed anyway. That's amazing. So, Dave, why don't you, because obviously Life Remixed and, of course, A Life of More, Nancy's book as well, both feature something called Augmented Reality.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you give us a little
Dave's favorite topic.
One of my favorite topics, absolutely. So what I like to say is augmented reality is where your book comes alive. And much like scanning a QR code with your phone, what you're going to do with an augmented reality, you're going to have a marker in your book. In your cases, it's an image or something that's in your book that you can scan with, and your book comes alive to give you more content and more information about what you're reading. It could be a book trailer and some kind of video. Basically, anything that you can imagine on a website can come out of your book. And so, Mark, in your case, it's a video that you've produced, and it's a well-produced video of you guys talking about your book and about the story behind the story, if you will. Mm-hmm. And what in both of your cases, you have a button that takes you to a website. So there's a call to action as well as what you're presenting, and that call to action brings the user, the reader, to a whole other world on your website where they can and this is website is what you control, where you can present to them whatever it is that you want to present, be it music, be it videos, be it content, and other things that are of interest to them, because they're reading your book. They want to know more about the author. They want to know more about who you guys are. And they love to hear the story behind the story. So that's really what it's all about.
So basically, people, that wasn't a setup, by the way. That was actually sitting on my desk. I was actually sitting on my desk at the top of the pile. I dug it out the other day and I put it at the top of the pile. As soon as you mentioned it, Nancy, I was like, right, yeah, you've got to have that. So, but basically, Dave, with augmented reality, people are going to go up and actually be able to QR code scan their on the book, and a video of myself or indeed Nancy on her book will pop out, and then there'll be a message. I think my one's like a couple of minutes. And
exactly.
Nancy, tell us a bit more about your one.
Well, mine goes to, you scan the cover, I believe, right, Dave?
Correct.
And it takes you to my website where I have 2 songs that I'm singing. And so you can download those if you like them or not. And anyway,
I did promise you that I wasn't going to ask you for a rendition right now. I won't do that. People need to buy the book in order to hear that.
yes, there you go. There you go.
There you go. Sales.
Yes.
I love it.
So,
I've got a great message here as well. It's Judy. This might be for you actually more. This is a great friend of mine, Matt Hollister. I've known Matt for some years. We worked together a lot at Heathrow. Fantastic fella. I helped him a little bit after Heathrow Airport's been through some really tough times in the last 12 months, as you can imagine. And many people have left the airport. There was something like 90,000 people working at that airport, and it's down skeleton. And Matt went through. Matt won't mind me saying he went through a bit of a challenge. I've been through my own challenges. Matt went through a bit of a challenge.
We all have.
Yeah, we've all been. That's right. And he reached out to me, and I gave him some advice, and he's been a massive supporter ever since in the last sort of 6 months I've been doing this. But Matt's got a question here. Look at his lovely smiling little face there. I love it. Look. My daughter is a budding author. What advice would you give to an 11-year-old that is searching for ideas for her first book?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. A lot of things are running through my head. So to me, first of all, keep it simple. Whatever we're doing, it's got to be able to, even for an 11-year-old, she may not understand what make it flow means, but it's got to be authentic. She's got to be able to feel what she wants to convey her message. She can do it a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be like a written book, a story. If it could be a storybook. In the case of Marissa, my granddaughter, she did an activity book. So it's still a book, still became bestseller. So is it she likes to write, whether she likes to draw? Because that could also be the other thing. And it could be that she guides an illustrator on how to get her book drawn. So it depends on her talent, but I can't say anything more than keep it simple. It's their imagination is beautiful and it's unfiltered. I remember Jennifer, Jennifer, Nancy, and Mark. When she was in grade school, she would have been 11, 12 years old. She wrote about a rug and being stepped on. But her imagination in that was just phenomenal where she took that story. Who would think today for us to write about a rug? But at that time, I didn't know any publishers, so I couldn't get her story published. But it was such a great concept.
One of the things that I've learned certainly is that it's about team. I've written some words, okay, but I was guided by the missus. I was guided by Emma somewhat in getting organised. I've also been guided by all of you guys, and obviously Danielle as well, and many wonderful people have been a part of this journey in the last sort of 6 months or so, and even longer, obviously throughout my entire life, basically. But it's about team, and I picked this one up, and one of my friends said it to me when I was in the corporate world. He said, "Together, everyone achieves more." And I was like, "Oh, very good, very good." That's what team stands for. So, Matt, I would make sure that your daughter realizes that it's not just all on her. Get her to throw some ideas down onto paper, or even nowadays with Microsoft Word. If you've got a decent laptop, which I'm pretty sure you have, Matt, with Microsoft Word, double hit the FN button and she can just speak the book. She can actually speak it into Word. And then later on, someone else can edit it and someone else can help pull it together. And as Judy said, someone else might do the illustrations and do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not all on you or her or anyone else. It's about getting the idea, because she is utterly unique, your daughter, as is everyone. And they've all got something, they've all got their own story or something to tell it in a completely unique way. So I would say that's definitely one way to go, Matt. So I hope that's been helpful, my friend. I was going to ask you a question, Nancy, actually, if I may.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's a sort of double-edged question, really. It's what is success to you, and what are you looking to achieve? Obviously, by putting this book out, what's the motivation for you?
Well, when I was writing the story, two things kept floating around in my head, and even after I finished it, these two words would come out, and the two words are healing and hope. So above everything, whoever reads my book, it's my wish, my prayer, my hope, my desire that they find some kind of healing in their life through maybe recognizing themselves in this story or something, or healing. Did I say healing already? Okay, healing by recognizing something in the story, or hope that it's never too late. It's never too late to live a life you love. It's never too late to have your dreams. As I said before, unless you're 6 feet under, then it's a bit too late. But while you're still on this earth, it's never too late. And so these two words have been, I can't let them go. They're just like, every time I think of my book, I think of two wings on the side, hope and healing. That's what it goes out with. So
that's really nice. It's really special. And I think it's so important to have that purpose or that mission behind anything that you do. So, Matt, as far as, Matt's just saying great advice. Thank you. That's great. I don't know what's happened to Judy. The technology's got the better of Judy. She's disappeared. She can't even hear me. But if you want to WhatsApp her, then she might, if she logs out and maybe logs back in. Oh, hang on. No, she might be back. Hello.
No, there she is.
I'm still playing to figure out how to get my camera working.
Judy?
Well, I just figured, what the heck? That's what this is all about.
Press a few buttons and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be here. I'm gone. I'm going to be here. Sorry, Nancy, for interrupting.
Okay.
No, I would say healing and hope and having that purpose, Nancy, I think is wonderful. I've got another question for you as well. Why Doha? Because it's nice there. The weather's nice. You've got a nice temperature, and most of the year, apart from the summer when it's absolutely roasting.
Oh, yeah.
But why Doha? What's going on over there?
Well, I'm teaching here, so it was a teaching job.
Oh wow. Okay. So what subjects do you teach?
I teach special needs children of the local people. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
yes. It's a very interesting job because you have English as a second language, and you have these disabilities and the whole thing that goes with it. And you have a language coming from the left to the right, and the other language coming from the right to the left. So it's very interesting.
Oh, they meet in the middle.
Yeah, they don't meet in the middle. I can tell you. It'd be nice if they did, wouldn't it?
It'd be very symmetrical if they did, wouldn't it? But,
yes. So
amazing.
That's my day job. And do you have a day job still or not?
I have. I'm fortunate enough to have manifested an incurable disease and a bankruptcy in my 30s. I'm now 50. So, I basically started to climb out of that pit about 12 years ago. And one of the things I did was I listened to Bob Proctor and The Secret and Tony Robbins and Kevin Green here in the UK and all these amazing teachers and amazing people. Yes. And I just listened. Someone said to me, success leaves clues. I'm like, yeah, okay. Bob Proctor said, your way isn't working, try mine. I said, yeah, okay, I'm listening. And the more I started to learn and study, I just saw the results, the outer results start to take shape. And I was like, okay, so this is working. As long as I live in this kind of really peaceful way and I just give out good energy, then this is working. And so thankfully, my wife and I, we've been married for 3 years now and together for about 8 years. But over the course of these last 8 years and my previous 2 or 3 years before that, before I met her, we've been focusing on multiple sources of income. One of the things that putting a book out is, of course, it's another potential source of income. It's another goal for us to work towards, that we can reach out to more people. Because if I'm just sitting here at my computer, of course I can reach people this way. But a book, of course, is sitting on a shelf or it's sitting on Amazon. It's got a further reach, hasn't it? So So yeah, we've worked on multiple sources of income for a long period of time. And what was interesting was that my wife had one business called an event business, and it was going very, very well. Everything was going great. She had lots of big clients. It was all fantastic until March the 23rd, 2020. You know, and by March the 26th, 2020, everything's on pause. Diary's cleared. What was, you know, I mean, I was sort of sitting. I wasn't sitting smugly, but I was sort of sitting there going like, okay. And she turned around to me and she said, I finally understand what you've been going on about all these years. She said, multiple sources of income. Because if one goes out the window, you can, oh, hang on. Hold on, sorry. Hold on, wait. Yay!
Hey,
I was determined.
that's it. Send out the right vibrations.
Very, very well done, Judy. I'm most impressed.
I was going to stay with it until it happened, just so everybody knows, because it's never too late.
I'm just going to pipe in right now and say, I know Judy's tenacity. I've never seen anything like it, so I'm not at all surprised. I'm impressed.
I thought I have to be on by the time this ends, because it's bothering me.
25 minutes that took you, but well done.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long it takes.
I'm not going to let anyone in this secret. It's going to cost everybody in the audience money to get that secret out of me.
Figure out how you do it.
I reckon I've got a funny little story actually. I want to, in a minute, Judy, I want to come to you because obviously we've spoken about healing and hope for Nancy's book, and I really would love you to give a little story around Hasmark and that kind of stuff. But just on IT in general, I'll tell you a little story. We were sitting on an A380 aircraft. You know what that is? Big double-decker aircraft, huge thing, massive.
Oh, yeah.
It was just before I took Emma. Well, Emma and I went to Thailand. It was just before we were going to get engaged, and we had this long flight all planned out, and I had everything in my mind. Had the engagement ring in my bag, and it was all perfect. And then we're sitting on the tarmac at Gatwick, and as we're sitting there, the plane's not going anywhere. And then, you know, they tried it, they were trying it. It was like, no, there's a fault. We can't go. They pushed us to a remote stand. I watched 2 Star Wars movies in business class sitting there. I watched 2 Star Wars movies back to back. So I mean, 4 hours. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what is going on? You know, this is a nightmare. I missed the connection in Dubai. It's all like, oh no. And then they came down the aisle, and the guy was saying, oh, we've got a problem. It's something to do with a light. The pilot came on. He said, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a problem with the aircraft. There's one little red light that's on, and with this little red light on, we cannot fly. And if you cannot fly, it was 2 days before Christmas. There's no way we're getting another flight either. He's like, basically, so we can't fly with this light. So what we're going to do is we're going to power down, and then we're going to power back up again. And I was like, you're joking. We're gonna switch the plane off, right? And then we're gonna switch it back on again. And then all right. And I was sitting there. Emma's a bit of a nervy flyer anyway. And literally that's what they did. It all went, and they powered down for us for about 5 minutes. We sat there, no films, no aircon, no nothing. Powered back on again. And he came back on, he went, yep, that's worked. Like, we're gonna fly now. All they had to do is switch off and back on again. So anyone with any IT issues, that's the key, right? Yeah. So
power down, power back up. Yeah. Got it.
Even on an A380 airplane. So Judy,
but do it while you're on the ground.
Yeah, do it.
Exactly.
Please do it while we're on the ground. Really, the purpose behind Hasmark and the title and everything else. Why don't you give us a bit of background on Hazmat Publishing?
Okay, Hasmark stands for Heart and Soul of Marketing, and actually my brother came up with that title, which is pretty awesome. So and that's what we really do. We've been working on our value proposition, which it's incredible. Every few years, you got to recreate yourself, it feels like, and that's what we're doing now. But yeah, it's all about us putting our heart and soul into what we're doing. We started with the marketing, then we went into publishing. Now we're bringing publishing and marketing together. So, and through all that, it's incredible, the life journey. And you talk about healing. I know that's where you're kind of going, because you talked about my books that I've done, and that's exactly through it.
Hold it up properly so everyone can see, Judy, please. It's unwavering strength, isn't it? There you go.
Yeah.
And what does it say? Stories to inspire you through challenging times. Wow.
Yep. And then I've got the second version of it, which is stories to warm your heart and soul. One of the things actually is you're seeing the symbol, the heart, camera's backwards. And actually the authors that collaborated in the book had this necklace made for me, which everything about what we do has this symbol of this heart on it. Which this is a good kudos to Danielle, because that's what she's all teaching us all to do, is brand ourselves and get ourselves marketed.
Yeah.
So,
well, with the subtext of that book, I'd give it another push in the next few months if I were you, because I think everyone's looking to get over a crisis and get back to some sort of normality, hopefully one day, right? So, I've got a couple more messages here. I seem to have struck a chord. Wayne says, "I think you'll do a separate Zoom on your airline adventures." I have got another one. I've got a third one.
You have lots of stories to share.
I've got a third one, and that's the second story. Vicky says, "That's the second I've heard about you in training shoes. Don't think I want to travel with you." I hear you. I'm
going to remember that.
I've got a third one. This is very quick. This is the third one. Airline Adventures is the follow-up book. I've got a third one. We flew into Belfast, and this is my DJ. I was on a plane nearly all the time as a DJ, flying somewhere. We flew into Belfast, and we had to get one of those little twin propeller, those little propeller planes, really tiny little one. And we had to get on this tiny little plane to fly to Londonderry to Derry. It's like about 100 miles away, but it was quicker to get on this plane. So we got on this little plane, and it was me and my DJ partner Rocky at the back, and there was two larger ladies nearer the front. And these two larger ladies nearer the front, the guy was getting ready to taxi, and he actually came out because he had a little sliding door to pilot. And he came out and he said to us, he said, can you all split up and sit in different corners because we can't take off because the weight's not right. Right. So anyway, that wasn't a good sign. We took off.
That's the good part.
We took off. We managed to get off the ground, but then it was like thunderstorms and lightning, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then this is the worst bit. It had little wheels. It had these little wheels. One of them fell off, and one of these little wheels fell off, and we had to circle like Londonderry for like about an hour to burn off the fuel so that we could land. Oh yeah, there you go. Jeff's saying hi, everyone. But yeah, listen, face your fears and fly. You'll be all right. Don't worry. I'm still here. So look, obviously we're talking about Fearless Friday. So overcoming fears is a really important thing. I feel like just throwing out a few statements to you all, and because I've actually been writing a program today, believe it or not. I've been putting together like a Life for Your Next program.
Awesome!
Thank you. And I thought, obviously I threw out a couple of questions. What about if I throw out a few statements to you, and then you can kind of agree or disagree? It's up to you, of course. But why don't we think about what you give? Are
you going to become like one of those TV hosts or something, like on Jeopardy? Because you have way too much fun with this stuff. You really do.
Somebody shut me up. No way. It's not happening. So anyway, what you give is what you receive. Discuss.
Oh, what you give, what you receive. Well, give out anger, you're going to get anger. Give out heart, you're going to get heart back. You're going to get love. You're going to get gratitude. It's an easy one.
It is. But a lot of people don't necessarily grasp that, do they? A lot of people would just go around there. Well, maybe I think, like attracts like, which is an interesting.
Yes.
We're all sitting here together, and we all understand that statement that what you give is what you receive. Right. So I'm supporting Nancy supporting me, and we're all working together in Hasmark and everything else. So that's all fine. I'll give you another little example. When I was in the middle of the nightclubs in 1988, like partying and drinking and doing all sorts of other crazy stuff, that is in Life Remixed, it felt like everyone was doing it. And why would it feel like everyone was doing it?
Because you're
around all the people that were doing it.
Like attracts like, and it was like, it wasn't everybody. It was just a little niche group of a few thousand people or something, but it felt as if it was everybody.
Well,
so I think it's an interesting
life. Anybody.
Say again, Dave?
Look at your life. Anybody. look at your life, and if you're getting what you want, it's what you're giving. If you're not getting what you want, it's what you're giving.
Absolutely right. And I suppose Nancy as well. I mean, you know, I'm not prying or anything, but obviously being a teacher, I mean, this must be good stuff that you can share with the children as well, whenever you possibly can, I suppose.
I try. It's whether they want to accept what I say or not. But as I said to a student, he said, "Miss, he's making me angry by what he's saying to me." I said, "Well, don't give him your power. You keep your power. Don't let him get you angry, because that's you giving him power over you."
Very
and whether
true.
he understood that or I don't know, but sometimes I just, you know, you have to say things and hope maybe somebody hears it.
Well,
Right?
I would say that when that happens, you're making me angry. It's not true. It's I'm making me angry.
Mm.
You know, if I'm getting angry, it's down to me. I heard a great quote. I think it might be from Buddha or Buddhism or something like that. Holding on to anger is like holding on to a hot piece of coal and hoping it burns somebody else.
Oh, actually, that gives me
Anger,
because anger, though, does. I agree with you, because someone posed the comment the other day about anger. Anger is our choice. It's about us. And I thought to myself, what do you mean if someone makes me angry? But it's how you chose to react with anger. You could have chose to react and said, haha, you're funny. But instead, when you stop and think about it, it's hard to believe that sometimes, because you just react, right?
It comes down to belief systems. It comes down to belief systems. If you have a belief and someone challenges it and you don't like it, that's when you get angry. One of the things I taught myself and I put in Life Remixed is just understanding what love really is. And for me, it's total acceptance. So the more I totally accept me, the more I'll totally accept all of you and everyone. Right. And it leads actually to a really nice, peaceful life, right?
Wow.
So let's keep going. Here's another one. Comparison is the thief of joy. Discuss.
Comparison.
Yes, definitely.
Comparison is judgment.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the first one: what you give, you receive.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I used to spend a lot of my time, you know, comparing myself to other DJs and thinking, well, you know, why is he getting that gig and I'm not? And why is he more successful than me and I'm? Why am I not getting that? And what a waste of time that was.
Yeah. But we're taught, though. It's incredible how much we're taught. Like, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, who are your competitors? I don't know. Do I have some? I don't know. I do it the Hasmark way.
Yeah. I mean, no one else could do it. No one else could have written my book the way I've written it. No one else could have written Nancy's book.
Right.
Exactly.
Completely unique. And it's about, I think a lot of it's about confidence, isn't it? It's about, calm confidence, about putting yourself out there and saying, well, no one else could have done this. So, I'll just do it my way and see what happens.
I think that competition also comes from lack. Like, there's not enough, right?
Yeah.
If he writes a book, what about, and I was listening to Michael Beckwith the other day, and he said, breathe in. Did you have a fear that there wasn't enough air to breathe in? Everybody has enough air. There's enough of everything. There's an abundance in our universe. You don't need to compete with people. There's enough for, you, me, everyone. There's enough books to, for people to write, for the whole world to embrace,
Cooperation. Cooperation trumps, sorry to use that phrase, cooperation trumps competition every single day of the week. In fact, the straight talking that I do on a Wednesday evening, I had three really influential guys in the UK soulful house scene, and they all cooperated together in order to bring in these big American DJs and these big Italian DJs and stuff like that, because they all cooperated. So each one of them could, bring in and pay some money and make something happen, right? If they were competing and one of them was trying to do it on their own, not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So let's pick another one. This is one of my favorites. And I say this to quite a few people, and I get different responses. So I'm interested in what your thoughts are. If you understood the power of a negative thought, you'd never have another one.
Yeah.
I could speak.
Well, because you're sending out those negative vibrations, and they're hitting other negative vibrations and drawing it back to yourself. you know, so you're attracting that negative. The vibrations are sending out, you know, you're sending out the attraction to find other negative vibrations. The same with positive. You're sending out those positive vibrations. They look for like positive vibrations to send back to you. So that's what you're attracting.
I actually want to write a book about self-talk. Negative self-talk is the most destructive thing, because everything else cascades. It's your self-esteem, is how you see yourself. Oh yeah, big deal, big deal. Negative thoughts.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you'd never. I mean, I understood the power of negative thoughts because they took me down to disease and bankruptcy. And you know, that was when I looked at that moment. I was like, all right, I'm listening. You know, teach me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was ready. How about this one then? What anyone else thinks of you is none of your business.
Yeah, that's right. But we make it our business, don't we? There's 3 types of business. Who said that, Katie? Byron Katie. Your business, my business, and God's business, and they shouldn't mix, right? Something like that. You know,
I like that, Nancy. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was, you know, if you make it your business to try and think what someone else, or try and understand what someone else is thinking, wasting your time, because A, you can't control it, and B, it's irrelevant. You know, you've just got to get on with your own life, right? You've got to get on with your own stuff. If you spend too much time thinking about that, you'll end up, it will stop you, won't it? It will stop you doing things.
yes.
So really, really important. We'll do a couple more, shall we? And then we'll have a little free for all before we finish.
Yeah, exactly.
So, let's have a think about this one. Here we go. Believing is seeing. What do you reckon?
Yes, I agree. You have to believe. You don't. So we can look around us and see disease, but we don't have to believe in disease. We can believe in health. We can look around and see poverty. I've read a lot of Joseph Murphy books, and he talks about it. He says, you know, what you see does not have to be your truth. What if you want to see poverty, then you'll see poverty. If you want to see abundance, then you'll see abundance. You don't have to believe what you see. Does that make sense? Wait, so I'm saying the opposite.
What you're saying?
How many people get it the wrong way around? How many people say, "I'll believe that when I see it"?
See it, right.
Oh yes.
And you right. If you think you can't, you're also right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so many people. I mean, I grew up with that. Bless my mum, amazing woman. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, what Bob Proctor's helped me shift that in my mind is actually what you're doing is robbing yourself of your place in the creative process. You're basically keeping yourself stuck. You know? Luckily, my mum's got me to take care of her. So it's I'm making sure she's in a good place. So accountability breeds responsibility. Very, very true, Akisam. And Akisam's a good friend of mine as well. We met in the mud construction site, and he's a fantastic guy. So seeing is believing, believing is seeing. Absolutely, said that. What else? We pick one more. Let's go with a big one. Can each of you share, if you can articulate it, can each of you share what your life's purpose is, or what your life mission is?
Oh, there's a big one.
Good question.
You know
what's
what?
funny?
Go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, I'm just saying, because this is what the past 3 years, I've been trying to figure out, like, what is my life's purpose for being in this world? And the only thing, one of the things that I came across was that I'm supposed to transmit hope and love. Somehow through whatever I do, whether it's teaching or whether it's writing or whether it's speaking, and because I'm not. I don't like necessarily being in the limelight, and I just think that, what my life has showed me is that I have these small pockets of people that I've been able to raise up, so to speak, by whatever, helping or just being there for and being a friend to them when they had no one else. And I think that's me anyway. That's what I feel.
Well, you're in the limelight now, Nancy.
Yes.
Yes.
A little bit of kicking and screaming, but it's happening.
Yes.
You're in the limelight now.
You're
doesn't
still
feel like
stepping
the
through
limelight.
your fear.
It feels like we're just having a casual conversation, right? The four of us. So.
You'll get used to that. Ask Mark of all people. You'll get used to that. The more you do the calls and the more interviews you do, the more it'll feel very conversational. You'll lose the fact that there's people. Actually, sometimes you have to be reminded there's people.
What you'll find is you get motivated that you want 100,000 people.
Yeah, you want to do it more.
Yeah, I'm live like 6 days. I think the only day I have off at the moment is Thursday from going live at some point.
Okay, well, I have an idea. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Thankful Thursday.
What do you mean you got a day off?
Thankful Thursday. That was it, wasn't it? I could do 7 days off now.
Exactly.
No, at some point I will take a little week off in the coming weeks and months just to have a little relax and spend some time with Emma.
Recharge.
Absolutely. But yes, you are in the limelight, Nancy, and the more you get your message out there, the better it will be for everybody. So you've clearly got a good heart, a beautiful spirit, and a lovely purpose. So excellent. And Judy, what's your higher calling, your life purpose?
I actually thought I knew I was in my purpose. Like I knew I had found it. It took longer than I'd hoped for in my life, but it happened, and that's what's important. Is I realized when I was writing my book, and one of the last things I wrote was, "Let us be your strength." And all of a sudden it dawned on me that us is the initials for my book, Unwavering Strength. But what it was is I don't want people to feel alone. I want them to know that there are other people here. It's like you said, that gentleman's daughter doesn't have to write her book by herself. There's a team of people. And that's how I live my life, is surrounded by people. It is, to me, it's so important. We don't feel alone.
So that gentleman is Matt, and he says, I remember Mark being nervous when talking to 100 people. Yeah, you're right. And do you know what? The interesting thing about that was that, people find that strange because I was a DJ for 20 years. But the music was the barrier. So when the music's the barrier, I'm hiding, but I can play the music and I can wave and go, yeah, this is great, I still get an amazing feeling. But that music is a barrier. It kept me. It was my comfort zone. It kept me safe. And as soon as you took that away, Bob Proctor said, everything you want is just the other side of your greatest fear. When I was going through my sort of like personal development kind of spurt, growth, he said, everything you want is and I was like, well, my greatest fear is public speaking. So I know what I'll do. I'll get a job public speaking. That'll be good. And earn while you learn, basically. And Matt was there for some of that. And he saw me nervy. And do you know what? When we get live events and everything, I'll still be a bit nervous. But that I just feel the fear and do it anyway, right? So, Dave. Last but not least,
good question. Excellent question. And much like yourself in the music world, I spent many, many years as a musician, and I actually had a physical barrier. I was a keyboard player, so I had a physical piano between me and the dance floor. And the most satisfying moments when you're playing as a musician, when the people get up to dance because they're really grooving to your music. That was for me very satisfying. And that all to say is, it wasn't about the music as much as it was about the love that you were giving and making them have a good time. And so I've always known, and so it doesn't have to be about music. It could be about publishing books. It could be about marketing and doing a good job for your clients, but it's about the love. One word, love. And that's what it boils down to for me. My life's mission is to spread the love.
Peace and love, Dave. That's deep. I like that a lot. I mean, I can liken a lot, obviously, to what you're saying there. But by the way, obviously, that picture behind you obviously looks like a record and a keyboard.
Yeah, I'm a keyboard player. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Which is really cool. From my own personal perspective, as a DJ, some of it, unfortunately, that I fell into when I was younger was about addictions and ego. And that's where the stories come from, basically. But once I got past the addictions and the ego, or certainly started to become more aware of them, I realized that actually my higher purpose was to bring joy to people. And if I could bring joy to other people, however I do it. So, you know, I'm smiling doing this, I'm bringing joy. I can see Judy smile. I can see, you're smiling. That's great, right? So, you know, if I can bring joy to other people, then I feel really, really great. And everyone that's commenting and everyone's watching, everything else, you know, my purpose is joy. And when I realized what it was joy to start with, I looked back at the last 20 years as a DJ and went, oh, right, okay, yeah, I understand it was about joy then as well, but I just wasn't aware of it. And then I like to share knowledge. I like to read books and share knowledge and do my lives and share everything else. I love to inspire you guys, everyone watching, and myself. And I love to create stuff, books, music, DJ mixes, anything. You know, so as long as I'm doing joy, knowledge, inspire, create, then I'm living on purpose. And as long as you're living on purpose, then life is beautiful. And I can do that 16, 17 hours a day without, you know, having to concern myself with much else. And it's a nice way to live. So, and you guys have all helped me. You guys have helped me today. You've helped me for months. You know, Nancy, I want to wish you, you know, the very, very best for next on Tuesday for your book release. It's a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Great day to release a book.
Yeah, that's right.
It is.
Brilliant day. The 23rd.
I want to thank you, Mark, for inviting me on this Fearless Friday, because it does help, and it helps also when there's friendly faces joining me. So thank you very much.
We've got a couple of messages coming in. I agree. Judy is amazing. She does a wonderful job of making everyone feel welcome and included, and that's why you run a successful business, right? And Aksam's bigging me up. Thank you. Look at that. You taught me about self-worth, Mark. I will forever be grateful.
Yeah,
and
that's huge.
I did that on a construction site. now we can do it across the world, right? That's
exactly.
From Doha to Canada. From what's the temperature there, Nancy?
Well, it was 20 degrees earlier, but maybe it's 20 Celsius. Celsius.
Yeah. And Judy and Dave, what's it over there at the moment?
-10.
Yeah, -10.
Okay, and here we're about 10 degrees. So you know, we've got it all going on. We've got everything. It's been really, really wonderful. Thank you. We've taken up most of the hour. Judy was here for half of it, so you know. Half. And,
anytime any IT help is needed, I'm here.
Yeah.
On. No, listen, it's been really, really wonderful to see you all. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend wherever you are across the globe. Have a wonderful weekend. Share the video. Tell your friends. You know, it's good times. It's Fearless Friday. Keep rocking on, everyone, and I'll see you all.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having us.
All right. Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Enjoyed it totally.